ideal client. You feel like you could never do ads because you're not a techie person. Or number 4, your sphere knows more than one realtor and you're simply looking for ways to stand out. Do any of these relate to you guys? Let me know. I know for me, at some point, I felt all of these. All right. Okay. And all of them. Yeah. 3. Okay. Okay. All right. So a lot of us are in the same boat here. So you are not alone. It's not your fault, you guys. There is so many different marketing tactics out there that we're hearing about. So today we're going to cover these simple 4 things. Number 1, I'm going to tell you how to avoid the number 1 mistake agents make when they do run Facebook ads. I'm going to show you how to stand out like a marketing superstar with just a few minutes per month. And I'm going to show you how to run branding ads that are so much better than postcards. Because they can show up not just once, you guys, but 8 to 15 times a month in front of your sphere. And that's going to position you as the go-to real estate expert. So your sphere is reinforced with the other relationship building tools you're doing to send you referrals. And if we haven't met yet, thank you, Victoria, for the amazing introduction. My name is Amber Joy, and my husband and I are realtors with eXp. And we also have a company called Influential Agent, where we teach agents how to relationship build and generate referrals using the latest in technology. I will give him all the credit when it comes to finding out all this Facebook stuff. He is Mr. Technology. I feel like I'm pretty darn techie, but he definitely puts me to shame in that category for sure. But what I'm going to do today is show you guys how to do these techniques. And if you have questions after, I want for you to have somewhere to go. So I am going to pop into the chat my information, and you guys can hit me up there. I've got a YouTube channel with free education. You can hit me up with a DM on Instagram if you're running into any issues. Also, if you're interested I also have a YouTube channel for Christian real estate entrepreneurs who really want to start their week with faith, focus, and favor. And it's 10 minutes or less to get your week started right. If that's something that interests you, you can click on that link, and for free, it'll be delivered to your inbox every Monday morning. So those are 3 different ways that we can kind of connect. And I'm real excited to get to know some new ladies. Victoria said some great things about you guys here in this group. So I just love that. All right, are you guys ready to generate some more referrals? Let's get into it. All right, the number 1 mistake that I see agents making is taking out ads to the masses. Okay. And back in the day, Facebook ads used to be bomb. And I'm talking like you could take out an ad to a custom audience as small as a 1-mile radius, meaning you could practically take out an ad to the exact subdivision that you wanted to farm. And those are no longer possible. Those were the days when you could really just hone in on exactly what you wanted. I don't know if you guys remember, because I can't remember how many years ago that Mark Zuckerberg was it in front of the Senate or the House? I don't know he got in so much trouble and he got fined millions and millions of dollars due to violations, especially when it came to the housing category in real estate. So we can no longer take out ads to the masses unless you're doing it in a way of costing tons of money. Has anybody here ever tried ads? Your radius is huge. You can't really control the demographic or geographic area that you're going after. It's a 25-mile radius now. And that means you're running expensive ads that are hard to convert because they don't know you from Adam. And they may or may not attract your ideal client. And so while I'm not saying all ads are bad by any means, I'm saying, why would you do that when you have another strategy that you know for sure can work? And that's what I want to give to you today. Because meanwhile, people are running ads to the masses, but I want to ask you, what are you doing to market to your sphere of influence? And you can't say it's a set it and forget it. That's not really a marketing program where you put them on a drip campaign and you have no idea what those emails even are because they're so boring, even you're not reading them. That doesn't count as a great plan for marketing to your sphere. And your sphere list is the most valuable lead source that you have. It absolutely is. Here's why. It's always easier to convert a warm lead or a sphere referral than a cold lead any day. That's why Allison got all of those listing appointments, because she knew who to go after, her existing database, right? It also costs 5 to 7 times as much to get a new customer as it does to get a referral from an existing sphere person. So it's more expensive to go after those leads where it's not expensive to go after your sphere. This is my favorite one though. If your sphere is 300 people large, now I'm not talking about your entire database, I'm talking about your sphere list. Each of them statistically knows at least 100 people. That means you have 30,000 opportunities for real estate referrals in just one bucket. That's huge. Now, if your sphere is 500, that's 50,000 opportunities. That's a lot. So instead of going after new leads, why not use the power of ads to reach the people that you already know so that you're top of mind for referrals? Here's an NAR study. 89% of people who sold with a realtor said that they would definitely recommend their agent for future services. But because they've done this report for over 25 years, they have researched that only 26%
I'll pull up the schedule Andy sent me.
There we go. So why the big gap, you guys? Why the gap? It's because people don't stay in touch, right? So according to NAR, 77% of sellers, even with all this technology and people looking online, they only interview one agent. So the question is, will it be you? If I was to call your sphere today, would they name you as their realtor? How confident do you feel? Because we have to earn the right to receive those referrals from our sphere. And that means two things, you guys. That means number one, you got to have a relationship with your sphere. So I'm here to show you a cool technology, but you can't only rely on technology, or that's not really a relationship, right? So Victoria knows this. I'm big into contacting our sphere via DMs with a video or audio note, checking in on them. They get to listen to it when it's good for them, and we can start a conversation. We've gotten some huge conversions in the DMs. So that's a separate class. But I also want to show you today that once you have a relationship with your sphere, you've got to have techniques that can still stay in front of them, because they don't wake up just going, oh my gosh, I need to send Victoria a referral today. No, we've got to constantly be in front of them because they know other agents. And as time evolves, our marketing has to also evolve, or we become obsolete. I've been in real estate for 23 years. And when I got into real estate, the way that you kept in touch with your sphere was calling them and sending postcards. I don't know, has anybody else been in real estate that long? But we didn't have social media, okay? But guess what? Postcards is not the way to go anymore, you guys. I want to introduce you to what I call a branding ad for your sphere of influence. I want you to think of them as a digital billboard that follows your sphere around where they're hanging out, which is social media. Now, here's 3 reasons why I love branding ads and why you should consider doing them from now on, okay? Branding ads train your sphere of how to think of you. Here's something that I want you to remember. When your sphere remembers you, how they met you, okay, that's how their mind anchors your name. So for me, for example, it might be Amber, Savannah's mom, or Amber from church, or Amber from college, or Amber who makes the killer queso at game night, you know? So like they're anchoring your name to those things. And it's up to you. It is your job to retrain them with everything you do from now on in your marketing that no, it's Amber, the real estate expert, right? And branding ads do that. Let me show you some examples. I'm getting right into it. Here's some examples of some images that would pop up to your sphere when they're hanging out on social media. Now, here's some things. I want to take these images, and I know that my sphere may or may not read the copy, because you're going to have a photo and copy. They may not read the copy. They might. But I want to train them, even with just the image, in seconds, how to think of me. Okay? It's just a reminder. Instead of postcards, it's where they're hanging out on social media. And as you guys know, Meta, I'm supposed to say Meta and not Facebook, right? But Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. So I'm about to show you how to do these ads. But I want you to know that with one ad, you can actually find people by just clicking a button. One ad will run on both Facebook and Instagram, anywhere where they're hanging out, whether they're looking on Marketplace and the news feed. They don't have to be your friend. They don't have to be following your business page. This ad will pop up in front of them. I'm going to show you that in just a second, but let's look at the images on just some general ideas of what you could be doing to train your sphere of influence of how to think of you, because you have to give them, you don't want to just say you're in real estate. You want to give them reasons to anchor you to, hey, if you know somebody building, they need a realtor. You know somebody buying over here, they need a realtor. If you're wondering about if rates are high or low right now, you call me. And I like to do that one because if there's anything on the news a lot, I want to train them, come to me about that. Don't go to Zillow, don't go somewhere else. Hey, if you need a second property, I actually have a team globally, not just in DFW. Give me a call. I can sell real estate anywhere, you know? So you're training them how to think of you. The second reason I love branding ads is because they make you look like a marketing superstar. And what I mean by that is when these ads are running in front of your sphere of influence, you will likely get a text like I've gotten, and like a lot of my coaching clients have gotten, where they say, oh my gosh, I can't open social media without seeing you there. You must be killing it in real estate. And that's the impression they get when they see you following them around with these ads. And frankly, the way I think about it, I try to think of everything as if I'm the consumer. How would I feel about that ad? And here's what I think. If I was a consumer, I'm going to think about my agent. If you can't market yourself well online, how the heck can I trust you to market my home online? Let's reverse it. Oh my gosh, look at Amber. She can market so well online. She's definitely the agent I'm going to call, even though I know like 5 or 6. She's like the marketing superstar. And that's what we want because we want to get top dollar out of our home. See how you can reverse that easily. So this is important. And again, you're just going to be in front of them every single month, all over these platforms with just different ways that you want to train them to think about you. Now, the third reason I love branding ads is it keeps you top of mind for referrals. And isn't that what it's all about, right? Because your sphere does know a handful of other realtors. I actually would dare to say they might know a dozen other realtors. Let me know how many, what do you guys think your sphere knows? I know at my church alone, there's probably, I don't even know how many there are hanging out there. But I want to be top of mind. I want to constantly be planting seeds. And by the way, another reason why I love these branding ads is it gives people a tool in their toolbox to refer to you. And what I mean by that is as they're seeing these images, I can ask them if they want a market analysis or anything, and then they're able to tell their neighbors and friends, hey, Amber can do that for you too. It's like tools, right? Because 100% of your sphere knows somebody who's moving. Now, in a typical year, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with these numbers, but in a typical year, your sphere will move 12 to 15% of them will be moving in your sphere, okay? However, because the last year we were statistically down 30% in sales in the real estate industry, we were looking at 8 to 10% moved, you guys, last year. That's a big shift. Okay. We don't need to worry about that though, do we? Because 100% of them know someone who's moving. And as long as we get in front of them to get those referrals, we don't have to worry that they're only moving every 5 to 7 years, right? But you have to give your sphere tools that help them to refer to you because we don't just want their referral. They might love you and for sure use you. But again, we can't wait 5 to 7 years. So give them a tool to help you. And what that means is when they're seeing ads like this, where I'm saying I'm a vacation home expert. Why did I put that out? Because I learned that 14% of last year's sales were vacation homes. So I was like, anywhere between 12 to 14 is what it is typically. So if that's the case, I need to make sure my sphere knows, hey, if you're buying vacation homes or know somebody who is, then I'm the one that can help you with that. You know? Also, what's your home worth? Every March, we run an ad and do a video email and reach out personally to our sphere, letting them know we will offer you a free home equity checkup. This allows you to see what the value of your home is, whether you're selling or not. Do you know that that's not only a value to your sphere, but it gives them a tool to use? What do I mean by that? It means when they're at work and they hear somebody talking about moving, or they're at a family function and somebody in their family says, well, Zillow says that we can get 700,000 for our house. So if that's the case, we're thinking about selling. Someone in your sphere sees this ad, plus you reached out to them. They're going to say, oh, listen, contact my friend Amber because she said that Zillow can be up to 20% off on their rankings, meaning it could be saying your house is worth way too much or way too low. And she has a service where you can, for free, no obligation, get the numbers from her. It's not an algorithm. It's a real person checking your home value. See, that when you're giving them, those are tools they can use. If you aren't training them that way, what are they supposed to say? Hey, just call Amber. Sometimes they do, but most of them don't. They need like an in, they need a tool, they need a value to offer their friend to connect you. So those are some of the reasons why I love branding ad. But also, I'm a big numbers person. I don't want to do anything without ROI. So I have to learn the hard way. What's the return on investment for something? Let's look at the numbers. When you take out an ad to your sphere of influence, it is not taking an ad out to the masses. Instead, it's uploading your sphere list to Facebook saying, I only want to run ads to people on this list only. You understand that? Okay, we'll get into that more in a second. Because of that, I only have to set a budget of $5 a day, in which Facebook on average has only used $2 to $3 of it. So I set a maximum budget of $5, but it's like, it's only end up spending $2 to $3 a day. Now, that's around $90 to $150 a month. And that's up to a sphere of 500 people. You could have more, and maybe your budget needs to go up a few dollars if you do. Now, the average jumbo postcard, which I don't send, but I did look up online last week to see what those cost these days. The average jumbo postcard costs around 97 cents each. So if you had a sphere of 500, that's you spending $485 a month just to be seen once, maybe, in their mailbox before it goes in the trash. If you have a sphere of 300, that's $291 a month. So you can see money-wise why ads is a clear winner. Not only that, the cost per impression is so low because they're not just seeing your ad once. After doing this for years, I have seen on average that we're usually seen between 8 to 15 times a month in their newsfeed where they're hanging out for less money. So can you see why branding ads could really help your business and your referrals? So I'm going to go really quickly over the 4 steps to do an ad, okay? But contact me if you're having any issues. I'm going to show you how to do it yourself really quick. And then if you want, I'm going to show you how you can leverage it to somebody else at the very end, because, you know, leverage is a good thing to have in your business, all right? Because taking out the ad is actually an administrative task. It's not a dollar productive task. When it becomes dollar productive is when it brings in the referrals, and then you are converting those. Okay, so leverage it if you can. There's only 4 steps, you guys. Number 1 is you want to upload your sphere list as a custom audience. Now, Facebook will give you a spreadsheet. I can't pull up Facebook, but they'll give you a spreadsheet for a custom audience. You download it, and it basically is a spreadsheet that asks you for only 3 things: first name, last name, email address. That is it. Here's the cool part. Even though the email address may not be the same email that that sphere person is using on Facebook, Facebook can find them anyway. Don't ask me how, probably kind of scary, but that's how it is. They know how to find them. So again, they don't have to be your friend on Facebook, and they don't have to be following your business page to be seeing these ads. Okay. So here's a note though, that's important for you guys to know. Your sphere list has to be at least 250 people, or you cannot do these ads. And the reason is because Facebook, if it's less than that, it's almost like they feel like it's not worth their time, and they'll reject the ad every single time. And we found out it was attached to the number. Okay, it has to be at least 250 people. So if you don't have a sphere list at all, and all you have is this huge messy database of hundreds of thousands of people, or even 2,000 people, stop, do not pass go, you go to jail. Your sphere list is the most valuable thing you own as a realtor. You need to take the time to clean that up and figure out who's sphere and who's not sphere, because it's going to be really hard to relationship build and reach out to people if you don't have that list cleaned up. Okay, so upload a list of your sphere is step number one. Step number two is to create the ad image. Okay, I showed you some of the ad images earlier, like these. Now, it can be a stagnant image like you see there. It can be a video instead of an image running like you see there, or it can be a video. Like it can be, this is our annual Christmas. We don't call it Christmas because of all the different religions. We call it holiday message. Sprinkled with evidence of success in there. Now, when you're creating your images, you need to create them in 3 different sizes. I'm going to put this in the chat so you guys can grab these. Let's see. Because this is going to run on Instagram stories, in Facebook news feed, and Instagram for you. Like it can run in all the different places. So it wants you to make the different ad image sizes. So that a way when they're pushing you, the size of that image is going to be correct based on the page they're pushing you on. Does that make sense, everybody? So those are the different sizes. Now, I personally make all of the images inside of Canva. I'm sure you guys have Canva. If you don't, you have a free pro account with EXP. Grab that up if you haven't already. I create all mine in there. Now, most of them don't come from templates though. I'm like super picky. So if I did use a template that they had, I probably tore it apart and really used it, but they do have pre-made templates. I would just be careful that it's not tiny words. Also, Facebook has a rule when it comes to ads that you can't have more than 25%. I think sometimes I get away with more of text on the screen over the image. Okay, so you don't want to have your entire ad on the image itself. That's just a little pro tip for you. But then you make your ad images or videos. And then step number 3 is going to be to create the ad copy itself. Now, I don't want you to overthink this. I'm going to give you an example on the screen. And if you want, you can screenshot this and you can borrow it and use it on one of your ads if you would like. Okay, what you're going to need is a headline. You're going to need to know when they click on that image, where are they going to go? Mine typically goes to a Calendly type thing. Ours is built into our CRM, but do you guys have a link where somebody can schedule directly onto your calendar? Sometimes that's what we're using. It depends on the ad itself, what your call to action link is. But I want you to keep in mind, these ads aren't going to be clicked on that much. That's really not the point of these. We're not trying to gather new information from people that are strangers. These are our sphere. What we're trying to be is top of mind so we get calls for referrals, and that's exactly what happens. Okay? But the text is just really to train them how to think of you. Don't make it a novel. This is the few tips I want to give you. You want to use a few emojis because that's the language of social media, but don't over emoji it because that makes it hard to read the text. You also want to put a lot of spacing. Do you guys notice that I don't write in paragraph form in ads. You want to have a lot of spacing in between the lines. Why do you think that is? It makes it easier for people to read. Okay. So you want to have a lot of spacing. And by the way, if you're having trouble with emojis, you can use a website called emojipedia.com for free. And there's every emoji known to man for every emotion known to man if you need that. Also, I want you to keep in mind your ad copy needs to adhere to the NAR advertising policy. A lot of people forget that social media also counts as advertising. And so you've got to have your name. Because it's on the World Wide Web, you want to put your state. You don't always have to do that in postcards because you're mailing it in the state, but you want to do that on your ads, your broker name, your contact information. Okay, so that is an example of ad copy that could go with the image. Be careful. Sometimes I have ChatGPT help me, but ChatGPT, you can tell it's early in the morning. ChatGPT doesn't know NAR advertising policy. So you need to make sure you tell it, hey, this is the policy. Make sure it's everything you write follows this. And also, it doesn't always know the housing category. So it'll write an ad, no problem. I find this out on Fiverr.com too. You'll have all these ad specialists, but when you ask them to write you a real estate ad, they're not familiar that the housing category has special rules. And you don't want to be breaking those rules. So would you like to know one of those rules that caused me havoc for a while because I didn't know my ads were getting rejected by Facebook and it wasn't telling me why. And it wasn't until we actually got somebody on the phone at Facebook, which is next to impossible, that we found out. So write this down. I want to save you the headache. When you write your ad copy, you can only use the word you, as in YOU, or any derivative of it. You are, your, one time in the ad. If you use that word multiple times, it will instantly reject your ad because it thinks that you're trying to personalize it too much to tell people how they feel or to tell people what they should do. So you've got to kind of make it more of a generic. You notice in my ad copy for those thinking about selling, I can't say, are you thinking about selling? So you just kind of alter it a little bit to make sure your ads aren't rejected. Okay, I hope that helps you guys. That'll save you some headache there. All right, the fourth step is to actually take out the ad on Facebook. It's the Meta Business Suite is what it is, okay? Do not take these ads out from your personal page. Take them out from your business page. Although it will allow you to do your personal page, it will cause you a lot of issues down the line. Don't do it. Do it from your business page. Here, the unfortunate part is Facebook changes the page that you take the ad on all the time. They'll move the buttons around. They change things all the time. So what I want you to do is screenshot this slide here, because if you're generally looking for these things, this is the big picture of what you're doing to take out the ad. Okay, this is kind of the buttons you're going to want to find. I couldn't screenshot Facebook because when I did that, people would get irritated after class because the buttons change all the time. So here's the general. Everybody got it? Screenshot? You good? All right, cool. All right, so here's a question I get asked often. Will my sphere be annoyed if they see me too much? I don't know if anybody was wondering that. Here's the truth. They're going to see ads regardless. It might as well be you some of the time. Okay. Studies show that someone needs to see your message 8 to 10 times before actually remembering it. These are marketing stats. So we need to be in front of them a lot of times. The sweet spot of they've noticed, they remember, and I'm top of mind is 10 to 13 views a month. However, when I get to 15 plus views a month, that's when it's stop. Your ad has now reached what's called ad fatigue. Okay. And what ad fatigue means is I've seen that ad so many times that I now don't see it at all. Have you guys ever seen a commercial or an ad and you just scroll right? You don't even stop because you've just seen it too many times. It doesn't interest you at all. That's what we call ad fatigue. So what we want to do is get in the habit of running a new sphere ad every 30 days, because we have already studied this with us and all our coaching clients that around 30 days is when it hits that 15 frequency. So that's when we want a new ad. So rather than having to stalk the numbers, we just take out a new ad once a month. And when I say a new ad, it's a new image. Okay. And one thing I want to remind you guys of is that the image examples that I was showing you are what we call hero ads. Who is the hero? You're the hero, right? And we call those, let me see if I can bring you back to one so you can see what I'm talking about. So in these ads, you're the hero. They have to see you in the ad. If they don't see you in the ad, there will be no pattern interrupt as they're scrolling through social media. What you want is them to go, oh, I know her. And then they stop and they look at what it says. But let me make something really clear. Hero ads only work with people who know you. If you're taking out an ad to the masses, which is not what this class is about, hero ads is the last thing you would want to run. Does that make sense? Because they don't care about you. They don't know you. So they're not going to stop and look at that. But if they know you even a little, that's going to be a pattern interrupt for them to stop it. So it works the opposite with your sphere as it does with the masses. If you take out an ad to the masses, you just have to solve their problem. They could care less about you. Okay. So hero ads do not work for the masses. Don't try it. Save yourself some time. Okay. So change them every 30 days so that you don't reach that ad fatigue. What's so cool though, guys, is you take out an ad, and once you get this up and going, you can do this in like 15 minutes. Okay. Now, not the first time because you've never done it before. It'll take you a lot longer because you're probably cleaning up your sphere list and adding them to there. But after that, you just have to take it out once, and it's running 24/7 for the entire month for so cheap. It is the best. Okay. So can you see why implementing this strategy is essential for staying top of mind with your sphere and generating more referrals? Is it the only thing you should be doing? No. But will it reinforce the relationship you're building behind the scenes? Absolutely. So I want to end with these numbers. Let's go back to if your sphere was 300 people and 20% of them sent you a referral. That's 60 hot leads a year. And even if only half of those converted, that's 30 sales in a year from just your sphere of influence. And yet so many people are trying the newest shiny penny idea when they haven't tapped into the power of their sphere. And if your sphere is 500 people, half converted, that's 50 sales a year. You guys would likely icon agent with that in one category at EXP. And I don't know about you guys, but in my area, I'm in DFW. In my area, that is $860,000 of gross commission income at 50 sales. That is huge. So I take this very, very seriously. I feel like the longer, when we first get into real estate, people are like, sphere, sphere, sphere. And then the more you do it, it works. And then the more we get experienced, we try adding all this really fancy stuff, and we get further and further away from the basics. And I'm telling you right now, if you're hearing me, even if you don't do Facebook ads, there is brilliance in the basics when they're done over and over again. You don't have to have something extremely fancy. What you have to do is be consistent with your sphere. Okay? I'm just obviously very passionate about that. So you have a choice. You can continue to cold call or go after the newest shiny penny idea, or you can recommit to relationship building and staying in front of your sphere. And branding ads is just one of the 3 ways we teach our coaching clients how to do that. There's a 3-pronged thing. We don't have time for all of that class today. This is one of the prongs in that. So if you guys are ready to implement, I've kind of given you all the instructions. I know it was the big picture instructions, but you kind of know the general gist of what you need to do to take out the ads yourself. So you can do that, and you could go it alone. If you guys get stuck or run into any questions, feel free to message me, and I'll do my best. I can't get on individual calls with everybody, but I can do my best to kind of message you back and give you a shortcut to get out of whatever you're getting stuck on. And then there's also the option to go together. If you guys are somebody like me where, hey, if somebody's already done it and they'll let me just purchase what they did and I'm going to do that, that's also an option for you. At Influential Agent, it's not going to be me, but there is a team that does branding ads at Influential Agent. So if you just want them to do it for you, there's 2 options for you. Okay, 2 options. One, you can just buy all my templates for a year. In other words, you can have a year's worth of images already made for you. That's 36 images because we have to make it in all the different sizes. And they're the ones that I found work the best. And it's all the ad copy. It's already pre-approved. So we've already run all copy and ads through Facebook and Meta to make sure that they were kosher before we give them to people. And so if you want that, including how-to videos from my husband, which by the way, change monthly. And so he updates it in the folder every single month in case something changed on Facebook. This allows you to just buy the ad package and let your assistant or yourself watch those videos, and you do it yourself. Okay, that's $247. That's a no-brainer. If you were to go to Fiverr, and try to have somebody make an ad image for you, it would be $35. To write ad copy, it'd be 40, and that's for one. This is for all 12. Okay. Or if you're just somebody that's like, hey, love this idea, I don't want to do it, but I want somebody to do it for me. He has a team that will just do the ads for you. You don't have to do anything. You'll get on one call with him so he can make sure your business manager is set up properly and you've given him access. And then his team will run all the ads for you for 12 months straight for a one-time fee of $19.97. So either way, you guys have choices, right? You can do it yourself, or you can leverage us, in which you have two different choices if you want to do that. But I just want to encourage you today that regardless of what you choose, make the commitment to get back to the basics of your sphere of influence, because that is where you're going to see breakthrough. But it takes consistency. So does anybody have any questions? I wasn't able to read the chat throughout, so let's see.
You did amazing. I took so many notes. This was wonderful. I'm sure there are people that have got questions, so we would love to take the next, 4 to 5 minutes to kind of knock those out. Who's got some questions?
I was just going to say my team, we're going to be putting something on the calendar to sit down and look at how we implement this, because we're big sphere people in our office and we do our monthly mailers, and we are, I'm a Buffini certified mentor. And so we have a lot of those principles, but like, this is the thing that was missing. And I actually have just been at the place where it's like, oh, I'm so frustrated because I know I'm not using social media like I should with my sphere. And so this was amazing.
Good, good, good. Yes, I used to be really into Buffini too. I think it'd be good to take those principles that you have and add on some of the tech.
Yeah, 100%.
I did put the link in the chat if anybody wants to leverage any of our stuff, so that you guys have that for the future. If you lose it later, just message me. No big deal.
We will copy it and put it in a follow-up email to everybody so that they can click and access and get directed straight to you. So you're good to go. We'll make sure that everybody that's on and all of our people on Agents Empowered will get this in the follow-up email.
Great, great. Sounds good.
Amber Joy, thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us today and sharing your wisdom with us today for free. So that's very generous of you. Thank you.
And Victoria, don't buy any of this, because when we have people in our programs, they get this for free. So don't buy that.
Very good. Okay, guys. Well, thank you. I know Anna and I are staying on at 9:15, correct, Anna? If you're interested in learning about some health insurance options, I know it can be really tough in this industry, and understanding kind of what our options are. And Anna and I have found this really amazing company that is making it more affordable and accessible. So if you guys have any interest in that, please feel free to stay on this link. Otherwise, we will see you next Wednesday at 8:30.
All right, guys.
Have a wonderful few days.
Thanks, everyone.
Man, that was awesome. I took so many notes and I got so much stuff, Hannah.
Me too. Hence all the messages with screenshots and things.
Which is hilarious, because at the end I was like, we should just do this, but
I feel like I just clicked my way through that with screenshots the whole time.
Yeah, it was so good.
I'm not staying on
Stupid, I think, not thinking of it.
Are you? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Amy. I'm sorry.
You're fine. I know Anna and I I was just talking to you about this yesterday.
I know.
This is perfect. I'm not staying on for the health insurance because I have military, but we're still doing the meeting at 10, right?
Yes, ma'am. We'll be in the office.
All right, I better get my butt in gear. I'll see you at the office. Bye.
Bye.
When hell?
Yeah.
You'll get it?
Mhm.
Okay, fine.
Are we waiting for Nelly to get on, or what are we doing?
Yes, I just sent her the link just to be sure she had it. I can. She's on the way.